SEO audit for best and less. My wife actually uses the site quite often, and she actually pointed out some issues to me, and I thought it would be a really good idea if I actually implemented a really quick site audit, have a look at some of the problems with the site, and hopefully the SEOs working on the site can fix them. Now, this is no way a criticism to the SEOs working on the site. Um, they may even already know about these problems and they've put them forward to the developers and restrictions. What I found in 13 years of doing SEO, you can recommend a lot of things and not always everything can get done. And so it's this sort of this best case scenario type thing. But some of these problems that I will point out, especially with the canonicals and top navigation, is probably something that really needs to be fixed. Google can be smart enough to work out solutions around some of these problems. A website as big as Best in Less would 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 be in a situation where Google would sort of see different things and treat them differently because they are such a massive site. And so if something is canonical to another page or whatever, Google might deem that as a mistake or make up its own mind if it thinks it isn't the right uh, instructive and directive in place. So what I first wanted to get into was the fact that when you have broken links uh, pointing to sites, now there's two problems that can arise with that. One, from a user perspective, where if someone clicks on this best and less for $3, which is a page that breaks, then they're not getting a really good best and less experience. As well as SEO, this link isn't passing any authority now because the page is broken. So the URL, you can look it up, news.com.au, lifestyle, fashion trends, and you can get an external backlink checker and check your broken links. But if you click on best and less for $3, it's available. You get this for a 4-page. So let's close that now. Let's go. Okay. So also Yahoo, if you click on this is the URL. Here's our guide to the best Christmas homewares. So you click on this best in less apron for $5 and you get it broken for a 4-page. So the product probably used to exist on best and less and now it doesn't. So one of the things that I would definitely do is either 301 redirect it to a relevant product. What would be better to do than 301 redirect it, because at least some of the authority will be transferred to another page and the users and customers can land on a similar product. But what I would try to do is restore that product, and even if the product is no longer available or is discontinued, just say that and then mention some relevant products. So unfortunately, this Christmas $5 product is no longer available. Here's a list of some similar products. So fixing broken links is also an SEO issue where you can actually improve your authority and rankings in Google, as well as making sure that if potential customers do click on these links, especially when they come from sites like Yahoo and News, and this one is from Westfields. So this Mummy Boo Romper said, if you click on that, as again as another 404, and Westfields and News and Yahoo, these are sites with traffic. So if you fix them up, you improve your SEO rankings because you get the authority now being transferred from Westfield, as well as potential customers can now click on that and see the related product, or at least restore the original URL, which would be my preference, and then show. So even if it's no longer available, you say it's no longer available, and then show related products. So definitely fix up those three and investigate that further. So also on the homepage, there's back on the homepage of Best and Less, some of the critical, there is quite a few things that really do stick out. I just don't want to get into it too much because it's just going to drag out this technical audit. But there's no text content, like no paragraph saying, this is what you do, blah, blah, blah. I would try to add a few sentences under each of these H2 headings. By the way, there isn't any H1 headings. So if you check the source code, do a quick search for H1, there's nothing there. So definitely get an H1 installed. Now, one of the issues that I find with the Best and Less website is if you click on new arrivals, Could be my internet's a bit slow. We've got no results. That's weird. It literally worked 5 minutes ago. Let's click on women. And saying no results. Well, that's really, really weird. It was, and now it's not. But anyway, take that out. If the URL, if you click on this little blue thing, that checks for canonicals. All right, so let's have a quick look at what Google says about okay, let's check canonicals. Just so you're understanding what's happening. Google, this is consolidate duplicate URLs. So usually a canonicals, you have 2 or 3 different pages that you need to show and they're duplicated. Then a canonical actually is a directive to tell Google, this is the version we want indexed. These other 2 we don't. They're just going to be here for user perspective, but it doesn't need to be here from a search perspective. So Google sees these as duplicate versions of the same page. Google will choose one URL as the canonical version and crawl that, and all the other URLs will be considered duplicate URLs and crawled less often. Canonicals doesn't mean they won't be crawled, it means they won't be indexed. There is a difference. So crawling and indexing is 2 different things, but let's move away from that for a second. So if you know that you have one version that it needs to be indexed and the others won't be, then this will make sense. And when you click on women, we have a canonical. So this is the link I clicked on. So you're telling Google, you click on the link and then you're telling Google, this is not the page we want indexed. It can crawl it, but we don't want it indexed. So why am I clicking in the top navigation to a page that we then tell Google, don't index this version? If you click the little canonical, it adds the word category in the URL, and then that's the version that is self-referencing the canonical. So this will be the version that gets indexed. So now Google may even override that fact if they think that Best and Less made a mistake. But if we do a search, you can see that you have that URL. If you check the bottom left, you've got the category /category, that is the version. Okay, so that's cool. So it didn't, so even within Google, it didn't index this version, which is just categories. Go back here. You can see in the bottom left, when the URL pops up, it's got /category, /categories. Okay, so when you go back here, this is the one this is the URL when you click on women, but then we've got a canonical that goes back to /category, and that's the one that gets indexed. So my recommendation is, why are we linking to pages then you're telling Google you don't want indexed? You want to, where you might as well serve up the right URL to begin with. As well as you want to pass the link authority and page rank when Google crawls the website to pages that you want to be crawled and indexed. So some of the things that I will do about this URL, now this may not be possible and it may not even be feasible with the current CMS, but these URLs aren't great at all. First of all, there shouldn't be apostrophes in URLs. There shouldn't be capitals. So the way I would build this URL structure is, when you click on this, it's got women's clothing /women. So why, under this category, is there anything that doesn't fall under women's clothing? Maybe I should have chose men's. I don't know much about women's clothing, but I'm pretty sure shoes won't necessarily fall under clothing. And health and beauty probably wouldn't fall under clothing. So what this category should be just /women. And then if it's health and beauty, I would have /women / you don't really need end. Google understands what those words are, and just have it like that. And that, for some reason, redirects back to this anyway, because it probably doesn't work. So Oh, that's how I would have the URLs. And then if you have women's, so shop all women would be /women. Then I have /women /accessories /women /activewear /women /denim. Now you can even do it another way if you want it. If that women's clothing is a really important keyword, which I'm assuming it is very. I haven't seen the analytics, but I can tell you now it would be a powerful keyword. You might actually want to have, then you want to have /women, right? And then you might even have, you could have another category called all clothing, and then that could be women /clothing. That could show all the clothing, that all the products, and then you can have, rather than shop all women, because you've already got that in the women, I would have shop all clothing for women. If you know that's something that's really important for SEO and important for your customers, which I assume it is. And then if you have dresses, where women /clothing /dresses. Think of it as if you're walking down into a Coles or Woolworths supermarket and you've got the aisles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One would be where you find the dairy, and then in the dairy section you find milk, and then within milk then you can find the products. And then within aisle 1, then you find milk, and then you look for cheese. Or actually, sorry, 1/dairy /cheese. So when you're creating a URL structure, it's very important you sort of structure it very similar to shopping aisles. And that's just a quick analogy of how you would sort of break it down. So you've got women's dresses. So let's go back to click on women. And then you've got, now you've got these filters, and then this for me, I don't know, this could just be me, but this sort of just, I didn't even see it until I spent some time in preparation of this audit. I didn't really even see these. So you've got women plus accessories. I would have all these sorts of things and filters down the left-hand side, and that can actually follow you as you're scrolling down. So it's like, look, on this women page, we've got 1,689 styles. I'm assuming, is that products? I don't know what that is, styles. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming it's products. So you click on load more. There's a lot to go through, but I just want to see, I don't know, track pants. So you don't want to see the tops. So you should have the filters that are following you, and then you can quickly move and say, click on pants, and so you're just seeing women's pants. Or then, women's shoes or leggings. And I must plead ignorance. I don't know exactly as much about women's clothing as you might think, but women know what they're looking for when they hit in this section. So you want to have that category, and you want to have that filtering on the left-hand side that's sort of sticky, that stays there. So women or men looking for women's stuff or whatever can easily click on what they want as soon as possible. That's user experience, and that's generally, you've already got the filtering up here that's sort of following you, but then you've got to click on it. This is actually not a bad filtering system, but I would probably put that down the side and let that follow, so you can then get size and color and price. But then again, if I'm scrolling like this, how do I change that to just pants? See, I don't know how to do that while I'm scrolling. So that's something to look at. So that's how I would structure the URLs. The new arrivals, that's good. It's a really, really slow page. It's very slow with my internet, but the other pages seem to load all right. It's just this one. So new arrivals, you've got 2,500. Now, are every single one of these URLs loading? If it is, that's gonna really slow down the speed of that page. We're not going to get into that deep of an audit because it's just for time constraints. But again, you click on new arrivals, you've got the canonical issue. So you clicked on new arrivals, and just click new arrivals, and then I'm going, it's false. This URL is really funny. Then I'm clicking on this canonical, and that's sending me back to categories. So when I click on this, I'm telling Google the URL that I'm referencing for new arrivals, I don't want indexed. But then you click on the canonical version, and then it's showing categories. So where the canonicals are, if you go back to new arrivals, you go into the source code. So the canonicals are in the source code and under canonical. And so that little script there is just so people don't think that my browser's doing funny things. That's a line of code is telling Google that I don't want the new arrivals link when I click on it indexed. I want this version. So why don't you just make that the version when I click on new arrivals? But also, new arrivals is a weird URL. Why do I have a page? The heading is categories. Is that a H1? So I would change that H1. I'm assuming that's a H1. So I'll make that something like new arrivals. And then I'll make this URL new arrivals. And the meta title is just called categories. So I'll show you what that is in a minute. But then the content for that page, there's no text content. Google loves text content. So if this is pretty cool. I don't mind that, but that probably should be, again, down the left-hand side. But I think and doesn't follow you and you're scrolling, and there's 12,374 styles, which I'm assuming are products. But anyway, so I would probably put text content. I'll probably put like text content. Don't know about this. Okay, well, for some reason, my little editor thing isn't working on this, but you would put it, new arrivals, and then underneath you probably put some content, let's say about 150 words, or maybe not that many, even just 100, and just explain, best and less stocks, the latest trends in women's, kids, babies, men's fashion. We're stocking these new products regularly. So please make sure you come back and visit the site. Just add a bit of content where it's around that sort of keyword around the word of like clothing new arrivals or new clothes. So, see, probably if we have a look at like new or trending. Actually, no, not trending. New clothes. I don't know. People said that. This is just saying one off the whim. Right. New in clothing for women. There you go. Oh, this is new clothes. There you go. Latest fashion trends. So you might want to even trying to rank for latest fashion trends out of 1 billion results. Okay, and if you scroll down here, latest fashion trends 2020. So you might even, rather than just have new arrivals, so you can have that URL, new arrivals, and then have like a H1 title. Maybe you have, latest trends and new arrivals. And then you would have that to appear at the top. I don't know where my H1 has gone. And then you would sort of rank that keyword. And then in the meta title and description, so just so you know what the meta title is, this title here is, I'll show you where this where this appears. And then the description is empty. All right. But if you go back to, there's a canonical version. So you got the title, we got the title, and the description's empty. All right. So if you check this in the index, how it appears to the customers, that you saw that categories best and less online. Let's just move this over here. And that's why you've got categories best and less online. And then the reason this is generating is because there's no meta description being set. So that's why Google's just randomly taking shot clearance by the blah, blah, blah. So what I would probably change it to is, this is after like no work at all, but this is better than what it is right now, just categories, right? So latest fashion trends by best and less. Something like that, right? So rather than what we had before, categories, I would have latest fashion trends by best and less, do the trademark thingy, and then hottest deals on offer, right? Something like that. I'm not even saying that's the one I would use. And then, because I got to go like literally off the whim here, which is not my strong point. And then I'll go, are you searching for the, actually, it might be men's, so you might not want to use the word hottest, but you know, it's just something for your mind to in 2020. View our online store today, right? So that should be something like that. Should be the meta description, and you can see it will look something like that, right? So you have, let's just get rid of that. So you have latest fashion trends by best and less, hottest deals on offer, and then you're searching for the latest fashion trends in 2020. So you're trying to hit that keyword, right? Look no further than our amazing range of clothing for men, women, boys, and girls. View our online store today. So there's a call to action. Now, this is just not something I would definitely recommend that you create, but it's a lot better than leaving it as it was. And so that description there would plop in that content in the meta description. Now, SEOs and developers know what that is. And you know, you want to make sure that all your pages are optimized, even if you think, what can this page possibly rank for? Generally, there is something that it can rank for, and if there's absolutely nothing it can rank for, then you need to change the page so there is something it can rank for. And so normally this new arrivals page was probably just not bothered to change the title and description, because you know, keywords like women's clothing is more important than latest fashion trends. But there's opportunities everywhere. So what we will do is, okay, we've got a new arrival section. What possible keyword can that rank for? And just one off the whim was this latest fashion trends. I'm not saying I would use that, but you would basically research and find out, okay, how do I get the most out of this page, and treat every single page as a potential landing page from Google. And also a page that sort of aligns with, if I just clicked on new arrivals, why is the main heading just called categories? Okay, so there's something that I would work on. And then same thing with men, like you've got men, obviously men's clothing is sort of, again, you've got the canonical issue. But then when I click on men, I've got shop all men's. I'll probably change that to men's/clothing and put everything that falls under clothing in that category. And so men's clothing shirts will look something like this. Men's clothing shirts, right? Menswear. You can change it to men's or menswear, but I'll probably just keep it men's, and then maybe make this, you know, what you can do too is when you click on men's shirts, Google tells you what people are searching for. So menswear shirts online, or men's casual shirts online. So scroll down here and you can see men's dress shirts Australia, men's t-shirts, YD shirts, men's short sleeve button-up shirts. This is telling you related to men's shirts. This is telling you, Google's telling you this is what people are searching for, right? Related to what you're looking for, right? So I will try to, I've got way too many tabs open. I would then try to fit into men under shirt. I'll probably change this. So the title and description is just shirts for men. Okay, so this won't be the page that ranked in Google. This will be the one that in Google. Should we do it canonical? Site colon bang. Okay, it's not even in Google. Okay, let's find it. So categories means, so it's not even ranking that page. Men's tops t-shirts. Oh, hang on. Hopefully, maybe could be a situation I said at the start of the audit where Google could ignore it. So let's see. Maybe Google's ignoring the canonical thing and it's a mistake, which it is. So Google has treating it like that, yeah. So Google's looked at the canonical and went, we think this is a mistake. So even though the canonical is pointing to the version with the category, we're gonna think that you did a mistake. Okay, so it's just causing issues for Google as well. So you got this URL here is men's clothing without the apostrophe, and then it's just men's clothing, and then this one here, the shirt, men's tops and t-shirts. Okay, I'm going to get to that. That URL is horrible. So let's go back to men, drop all men. So that should be all men's clothing, and then that should be /men's /clothing, and then shirts can be /men's /clothing /shirts. Because the reason that you would have it /men's is because you're not just only doing clothing. All right, you got accessories, you got shoes, maybe other sort of accessories that don't fall under clothing. So you clearly already Best and Less just sells more for men than just clothing. So that's why I wouldn't have, if you didn't, then I would have just /men's clothing. That would be my aisle one. So it all depends on the business model. It's another reason why how we structure URLs. But just, top of my mind, just an easy analogy would be look at Coles and Woolworths. So shirts would then be /men's /clothing /shirts. And this title is shirts for men and Best and Less. So I would make that title much more descriptive. Maybe men's. Well, what did Google tell us that people were typing, right? So men's shirts, and you're going to have you got the was it the casual that came up before? It was casual and dress. Cheap. I don't know where it's gone, but anyway, it was telling us that it was men's casual and men's dress. So what I would do is then I'm going to look at the XML structure. So in this category of men, because it could go either way, right? You've got look at the content. You've got obviously these are very dressy shirts. Are these only going to be dressy shirts, or is there polos in there as well? It looks like it's just dressy shirts. So rather than just men's shirts, change that H1 to men's dress shirts. Descriptive is an SEO's best friend. Right? Google loves descriptive. And so these breadcrumbs as well, like I'm going to get to that. So then you got / so in my URL would be /men's /clothing /shirts. And then the shirt, I'll put dress, so rather than just shirts for men, I'll put dress shirts for men online. So men's, maybe men's dress plus formal wear. So that's a lot of research that will go into every single page. So you got men's dress shirts, and down here you got men's casual shirts online. I just mentioned online, and you got men's formal shirts. Again, I just mentioned the word formal before. So just even using like, thinking about how I would search is in line with a lot of other people, but we would do a lot of extensive keyword research for every single page and work out how descriptive can we make this H1 in content, so we can just target a multiple array of different keywords, so we increase our visibility. So it would help us rank for, men's dress shirts Australia, right? Which we're not ranking currently on the first page for. So that would be something that we know people are searching for, that best and less aren't ranking. So I'll put, men's dress shirts. And then up here I'll probably put, men's dress shirts. You can include the word Australia in the title. Sometimes it can be a little bit, not highly recommended. But you can, so you can put like men's dress shirts for men online. We provide something about, we send Australia wide or something like that, where you can include the word Australia. You've got to be careful because the titles only have 66 character limits. Otherwise, you get the ... in the Google search results. And then I'll put some fancy content. Now, I've already gone 32 minutes. Definitely be something that matches the URL categories. So if I'm on men's, and if you have to create different categories, you create them. So you got men's shirts, right? So here I will just have home, men's clothing, shirts. And then these are really dressy. So you have to optimize that page for dress shirts. And then where's the casual? How do I get the casual? And I'm just looking. I personally wouldn't even, I'll personally on that page, I would show both dress and casual. And then I'll have another level category where I'll break it down to just showing dress and just showing casual. And then if you want to break down casual to polo, to tee, or whatever, like break it down as much as you can go. Google loves specific and descriptive pages. So do users, but in particular, Google does. So guys, I better leave it at that. Hopefully there was something to take away. There's some problems there that can be worked on. Broken links, check the broken links. There are also, I would also do a site audit. There was some broken 404 errors on the page. So if you click on, let me open up another page. So this page here, I found, right, again, it's got a canonical issue, which is a bit strange again. And then if you come down here and you click on inflatable toys and inflatables and toys, you click on that link, you get a 404. Now, Google hates that. It lowers the page quality of that page, meaning that it has a chance of not ranking as high as it could because there's broken links on that page, and that obviously plays into Google's user experience factors. But also, you are people are not going to get, they're clicking on links that break. Again, you're not providing them an optimal and optimized user experience. So I would recommend crawling the site completely, looking for 404 errors, looking for duplicate titles, looking for missing titles, looking for pages without products without alt attributes, optimizing that for the visually impaired. There's a lot of duplicate titles, so you have to look into that, duplicate meta descriptions. There's a lot of missing meta descriptions. So there's a lot of things that this site needs. If there's anyone out there in Best and Less or an SEO that will work on Best and Less that will like a full technical audit, just email me at andrew@amigadigital.com.au. I'll be more than happy to help. This is no way criticism. I like when other SEOs will sort of look over my work, and sometimes you can look at things so often that you become a little bit desensitized, so you don't always see it, or technical limitations of developers and the CMS platforms and systems not able to actually fix these errors, and that would be a terrible shame if that is the case. Thanks so much, guys. If you've got any questions, please leave a comment below, and please like and subscribe and ring the doorbell so you get more content coming up and more technical audits very, very shortly. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you soon.